Welcome back to the Freeaboos podcast.
It's Austin,
Hey, it's your boy Jeff.
and we are playing some catch up here today. We have 5 manga chapters because, well, we haven't had time between our schedules and just everything else.
I'm gonna have to rein in my ADD here because as much as there is to look at and talk about, gotta stay focused.
Oh, we'll still divert a little bit, but we gotta get back on track a little faster than normal.
Yeah.
We last left off in chapter 1142 of the manga with the nightmares of the children appearing and the giants wondering what the fuck is going on. The children are wandering off, being guided by one of Gunko's arrows, and monsters of their nightmares are appearing.
So, what's going on with this first panel here?
We,
Is that a cover panel?
Nope, this is just straight up into it. Saul is chasing after the children, calling out their names and as well, shit, they are really sleepwalking here. You can see Robin and Chopper chilling in his beard a little bit.
I thought that was just a little burn mark for a second.
Nope.
Saul is gigantic. Crazy
Yep.
bad.
And
What's with the white cloth? Where are you kids going?
yep, careful, Saul. The teacher warned us not to touch the children because I saw the teacher was just bloody to high hell, and said don't touch the kids. Saul's like, I want to, and it doesn't look like there's anything nearby, and we can't let them keep walking. So he goes to grab, but we see. This is definitely one of those illustrative points for the reader. Rings of thorns around the children, and they pierce Saul's hand.
Does Saul have the peg leg?
Saul does have a peg leg by the looks of it.
Hey, finally!
Because he definitely, I think he must have lost a leg in Ohara. Which, I mean, he was frozen while running and then thawed out by an uncontrolled fire, so
Yeah.
makes sense. And he cries out and falls to the ground due to the pain. The Walrus School calls in and says all the students suddenly fell into a deep sleep.
They're walking away.
And 9
They're
of them
still
walked away. I have a problem with the Holy Knight's plan already. If they're able to put the kids to sleep, why not put the adults to sleep too?
It's a good question.
Maybe the adults are too strong-minded, but I feel like if you just have the ability to put them to sleep,
Why not put the adults to sleep
why
as
not
well?
put the potential headaches to sleep? We cut to where Dory and Brogy are having their feast, but the calls are coming in saying kids are sleepwalking, these monstrous beasts have appeared, and they're heading towards the 8th branch using something called the telediction snail, only used within Elbaf, much like how Wano had their own little snail system that was unique to Wano. I find it interesting, but it also does make sense that you would have to have bigger versions of transponder snails for Elbaf. But that is something to see, and of course they also have the fire thanks to Loki last episode.
Oh, that is
And it's a very big fire.
Looks like it set the 8th branch on fire.
Which is where the kids are walking to. This is awful. My great-granddaughter Yelva goes there. The Jarul is drunk. Great-great-grandchild.
Good gravy. You're all way too drunk.
Yeah,
God bless Nami.
How the hell Nami has better alcohol tolerance in theory than the Giants is something.
I guess a perspective difference.
Yeah, but still, like, you would think like half a mug of giant alcohol would wreck Nami and normal people.
Oh, yeah.
And the fire brigade has been dispatched. But it doesn't last long until a giant skeleton monster just
Uh-oh.
swats the ship out of the air.
If that thing's giant compared to giants, oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
that thing
dude.
is tall. Like
That's
that
easily standing over the cliff sides.
That's got to be ore sized.
Easily.
And again, bigger the target, easier to hit, but that's a strong thing. And again, you have to remember one thing is most of the people of Elbath are not warriors anymore. They've been trying to get away from the warrior fighter stuff.
They've been reforming.
So really you just have like Dory, Brogy, and whoever the other giant pirates were having to dust off their scales. Oh, and cut to the Holy Knights having a fine dinner. With St. Somers laughing. Did you see the look on that giant's face when the thorns got him? Talk about priceless. What was that expression again? Love is both roses and thorns. Somers is definitely the prick of the trio.
Absolutely.
Gunko doesn't really care, and Somers calls her out for it, calling her stick in the mud. The more love you have, the deeper passions thorns take hold. Somers talking of a bunch of love, Skoppergbon being the minister of love, Sanji being Skopper's parallel. Yeah, I think you might actually have Sanji versus Somers here.
he's gonna fold him like laundry.
Saint Somers, the thorn fruit, a briar man.
Is that a Logia?
No, it's probably a paramecia because he was able to wrap the thorns around the kids. So to me, it's more of a paramecia.
Even murder can be moving.
If they try to hug their kids, the thorns will rip them to pieces. The brats won't even want to look at them after that. They'll be bawling themselves when they realize their folks died in front of them.
Okay, this man's
a sadist.
Yeah.
The tech of a sociopath. It'll be death by love. That's something to look forward to. Gunko, nothing. Come on, you're too stoic. It's pathetic. And then the other holy knight, Saint Q. I'm just Saint Q. I'm just gonna call him that. The dragon, Saint Q, Quillim. I don't know. Asks Gunko what route she's gonna be using to get the children out, and yeah, the most straightforward thing, the central path. You know, I mean, they don't know the terrain perfectly, so they're just going to go the most obvious path.
Yeah.
And they're just eating. Her bandaged face bulging with the food in her mouth is actually a somewhat bemusing sight. To be in the center is vulnerable. That's a harsh reality, especially when you're too helpless to move. But St. Q says the food needs salt.
Salt. Question mark, salt?
Killing him puts him to sleep and pulls out salt from Somers' dream and says he can wake up now. The St. Quilliam has the mythical dragon fruit model Qilin?
Quilin.
Qilin, a dream materializing man. Good God, that is one of the most that's why when we talk about busted devil fruits, we talk about like Kizaru having a busted fruit, but like this is like
pulling something out of someone's dreams.
This is like a whole new level of bullshit, in my opinion. Like this is like Luffy, like this is the Nika fruit level bullshit.
Well, let's just get him for perspective. Is only he able to see their dreams while they're out?
I don't know. That's a very good question.
Because if you can, if he makes dreams materialize as just a latent part of his devil fruit, that could be kind of nutty.
Yeah, he's pulled out the nightmares of the kids as exactly as the kids picture their nightmares.
I wonder if we'll get the opportunity to see him, like if Loki goes to sleep and he'll see him dream of God Valley or something.
Or rocks. That'd be something. And then Somers, that's the ability you use to pull those dream demons out of the brats' heads, right? And there's also a little, I think it's a little translation thing here, Muma, which can be a reference to both Pokemon and monsters. Yeah. So that'd be a little interesting little quirk to, I guess, hear in the anime once it's animated. Of course, I can use it multiple times simultaneously.
Don't like that. Salt is perfect. It's salt. The salt is perfect.
The salt from the dream, I suppose it would be perfect. That ship docked at the village is meant for giants, but we should be able to make our own rainbows with a painter. And then Gunko cuts away to Italy. It's delicious. Which, like, yeah, the rainbow prism stone thing that they used to make those rainbow bridges for the ships. In Elbaf is definitely a peculiar culture.
Yeah.
So when we've done that, we can just return to the Holy Land. And Sommer's like, what? That's it? This game was way too easy.
This man is really just out here looking for suffering.
He wants violence. He wants the bloodshed.
Someone roll up and run him the ones.
St. Q says, I'm stuffed, and it's somehow 0 calories. Or Gunko says she's stuffed. It's a dream meal, so of course it's calorie-free. Fills you up, but no calories?
What does that mean?
Because calories are energy. That's a very...
Well, that's a specific wording, and I imagine it was chosen this way.
It's weird. But Gunko says, Summers, don't let your guard down. Trouble is brewing. I saw Emperor Straw Hat Luffy's ship.
Respect on his name.
Yeah. Like, and so clearly, like, they, especially because these Holy Knights would probably be aware that Luffy and company just went up against the Gorosei and escaped. Didn't beat the Gorosei, but they won because they escaped. But clearly, like, it's like, okay, of all the crews to fucking potentially deal with, this is the last one we won.
Yeah.
And the kids are heading straight to the fire set by Loki. Because,
Look.
And then it cuts down to the underworld where Loki is standing holding Ragnir, which is taller than fucking Hajrudin. And
there's no way you can stop me. None of you can even lift Ragnir. We can't let you turn anyone else into the
Sun Realm, which is the second tier. Remember, Elbaf is split into 3 tiers. You got the Heaven tier, which is where the Holy Knights are chilling. You got the Sun World, which is where 98% of everyone is, and then you got the Underworld, which is where this grouping is, where Loki's imprisoned and stuff. The flames are already spreading. Now surrender your weapons and let me go. Sanji, who, keep in mind, appeared down here last time with the new giant pirates because he was stuck on Gerd like a zit on a back. But Sanji asks, what's the deal with this monstrous giant? Because, again, Loki is tall by giant standards. And Luffy's like, he's injured. If we don't help heal, will you? And Loki cuts him off. I'll kill everyone. Will you let everyone die? If you don't answer. Hajrudin says, wait. But Zoro says, don't fall for it. Luffy says, hey, I said if you pulled any shit, I would knock your ass down. Hajrudin calls out for him to wait and says he'll that Loki would zap Luffy if he got close. Once again, man, if I had a nickel for every time we had an opponent who was electricity based that was just nullified by Luffy, I'd have like 3 nickels at this point, you know, and now
which is incredible
Loki and a couple
because
others
keep falling for it.
Yeah.
We get an arm balloon. We haven't seen that in a while.
There's no turning back. Just stop, Loki. Think of the children. I believe that's Gerd calls out. Luffy, are you going to let him off easy? His wounds are about to open up again anyway. Luffy, cocks it, gomo no, and then Loki just goes, damn, I guess I lose this round. And before the hit happens, arm balloon, and Loki just falls face first into the snow because between the Cerberus and that, it definitely looks like he's using some hockey. Air balloon, that'll put you down.
Yeah.
But again, Loki showing off his observation hockey here.
Just, oops.
Shit, I'm going to lose. Damn. And then just falls forward. And so he was already at death's door. Just standing was probably taking all the strength he could muster. Basically, it was a gambit and was trying to maybe pass out safely. but the blood loss is too much. And Zoro says to Luffy, it's up to you if you want to help him or let him die. And Luffy says, I have unfinished business with him, but he was covered in blood.
It certainly looks like someone tried to kill him, and that's a separate issue from his prior crimes. It's such a hunch, but could it be?
Hajuden, and Luffy says to Hajuden, please save his life. I don't care what kind of person he is. I can't just watch him die, which... Honestly, that's Luffy. He doesn't like watching people die. Like, he's not...
Luffy is very, very seldom kill on sight.
Yeah. And Gerd, who is the nurse of the medic of the new giant pirates, treats Loki how long for a full recovery, and she says several months, which is...
That's not the kind of timescale we're able to work with right now.
If we're serious about treating these wounds, he shouldn't be sleeping in a place like this. They won't be so forgiving at the village. It'd be a one-way ticket to an execution.
I don't mind staying here.
Their hatred runs deep, but I guess we're talking about about unforgivable garbage. Wow, those horns are the real deal. They're the mark of ancient giants. Loki and Hajuden's father, Harold, had the same. So we see the fact that Loki's horns are in his forehead. A bit like how Kaido and Yamato have their Oni horns as well. So clearly I think the Onis are a subsect of the ancient giants.
They gotta be. Just because of the horns thing.
Yeah. You are both my precious sons. I want you to get along when I'm gone and do what you can to support Elbaf. We get a flashback. And Kid Loki, using a weapon similar to Kaido's, beating up Hajuden. How can I call such a weak runt my big brother? Loki the little brother. I didn't realize that one. You're just a bastard. You'll never be Dad's true heir. Oof. Hajuden, everyone knows your mom's got dirty blood.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. And Hajuden picks up an axe and goes for it. And it's like, people are like, no, don't do it. It's like, there's no way I can ever forgive him. He insulted my mother and killed our father. And Loki, conscious, says, do it already. This weeping warrior thing's gotten old. You're so drunk on all this drama, you can't even see the forest for the trees. Don't tell me you're really like the rest, thinking I actually killed our father in cold blood. You don't really buy it, do you? And the chapter ends with Hajuden looking like, what the fuck you talking about? And Loki implying like, hey, I've been in prison for this one, but I may not be the bad guy. Which I think was already kind of always hinted at, that Loki was this more misunderstood character, you know?
There was always going to be way more to him. There's no way Oda would make such a character and then not have something.
Oda doesn't do straightforward characters at this point.
Yeah, there's always... I mean, the most straightforward character we got, I think, was Kaido. And even then...
Oh, even then, he had layers.
Oh, absolutely.
No, honestly, like... Okay, I'll say this. For major players, he does not do straightforward.
Yeah.
And Loki clearly is not going to be a non-major player.
Oh, yeah. He's too big.
Literally and figuratively. But moving on to chapter 1144, A Time for Warriors, where we go back to the cover story of Yamato's pilgrimage, freeing the carpenter Frankie was with in Wano, and also all the girls who had been kidnapped by Who's little bitch boys. It is interesting to see Yamato do this, and also taking back one of the legendary swords of Wano, I suppose.
It's huge. Good grief.
Again, the one thing I don't like about one, and again, like I mentioned this back in our more recent video, is the fact that the size scaling is so weird. Like, Odin was a massive guy, but now Zoro, who is smaller than Odin, is still able to wield Enma no problems. I don't know what the properties are. of weapons in particular in One Piece, like changing size and stuff.
Someone give Oda a ruler.
And keep things consistent-ish, or at least give some type of explanation.
Because in this bit right here, even though, she might be standing on something, but like she's still twice the height of the person in front of her.
Yamato, I think, is billed at like 9 feet or something like that.
Fact check that real quick.
And regardless, like I think Kaido's like 19 feet. Big Mom.
Yeah, he's technically slightly bigger than Kuma, but still not as tall as Whitebeard.
Yeah, Yamato is 8 feet 8 inches.
Good lord.
And that is a very tall person.
You're goddamn right.
And Kaido, just for reference, his height was listed at 23 feet 4 inches.
Only.
Yeah, only 23 feet. And Big Mom was taller than him, I think.
Yeah, wasn't she like
25 feet? Yeah. But we go back into Elbaf, where Ripley is shown Frankie a very, very, very old robot-looking thing that does not fit into the rest of Elbaf at all.
It definitely sticks out aesthetically and physically.
Yeah, this has always been here, according to Ripley, and it's giving me scientific vibes. And she's like, I think you would appreciate being a cyborg. That almost seems a little bit robotist.
Robo-racism.
Yes. And why would there be a facility? And we check in and we found where Lilith and Bonnie disappeared to. Bonnie being in her natural form.
Of a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And here she looks like she actually looks 12.
Yeah. Lilith is going to be a very interesting character going forward.
As certified the smartest person on the crew. That's...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they got lost. And I guess even geniuses can get lost. And Ripley says, a good thing we found you. There was a horn blast earlier, so the woods might not be safe right now. And that, because clearly that was the horn for the nightmares. And Lilith says that she estimates it to have been there at least 3,000 years.
3,000 years.
To put that in perspective, Emeth was from 800 years ago.
Yeah.
Like this.
I think that's as old as
this would be the ancient. Like this is.
That's almost as old as the war between the Long Leg and the Long Arm tribe.
Interesting. And but also, like, that's older than the world government. Like,
easily.
Like, that's the... If you think back to the mural drawing, this 3,000 thing would probably be the first war. The second war would be Joy Boy era. And clearly we're coming up on the third war. But, like, so I think this robot's probably more from the first war. Which also puts in perspective the time of everything in One Piece. And Ripley's like, we can't really refute that claim because we locals aren't sure about the origins of this place. And again, if the giants who have been around for hundreds of years don't know the origin.
Also, who better in the world right now to make an estimation, to make such a claim about this than Vegapunk?
Yeah, and keep in mind that now that Lilith, she's the only active Vegapunk, but she got all the memories. Like, we know that all the satellites had the same information as Vegapunk, as OG Stella Vegapunk. Mm-hmm. So Lilith is all intents and purposes Vegapunk here. Mm-hmm. It's a weird aspect, but it works. But Bonnie screams out because a nightmare appears and it's a thundercloud, clearly like Zeus.
Oh boy.
Which, keep in mind, though, with Big Mom's history with Elbaf, but also like Elbaf in general, is worried about lightning strikes burning up Elbaf.
Oh yeah.
So it does make sense that a kid finds it scary. Frankie's like, Elbaf is full of crazy shit, but Ripley's like, no, that's not normal. And we see
that same skeleton warrior,
and in the Western Village, most areas Draugr, which maybe is like a ancient warrior type or something like that. Sober up and grab your weapons. It's not just a regular zombie; it's a Draugr. What could have brought the children's imaginations to life like this? It's the world of One Piece. Just assume there's some devil fruit bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think, and then, yeah, Jinbei later on says, yeah, it's probably a devil fruit at work here. So just like, where the chiefs were waiting on their orders, they drank too much, and so yeah, that's a problem. Like, because keep in mind, like, they pull up, they're having a big celebration of Dory and Brogy welcoming their friend Straw Hat here, and the Holy Knights appear. Like, there ain't no breaks here, you know? Oh. And Brooke says, this couldn't be more surreal. A giant me?
What a goober.
And hence why Brooke's my favorite. You visitors should fall back to the edge of the village.
You don't need to keep us at arm's length.
We want to help fight. You said that last bit a little too quiet, Jinbei says to Usopp. Either way, there's definitely something strange happening on this island. Cologne wants to fight. Of course, Scopper's kid wants to fight.
Gibbons.
Yeah, it's probably just a weird typing translation.
He's also a kid.
Also, probably like, well, no, Yasan is what a lot of them call them, so it might be like the way of saying it there. And that doesn't make you him. You know, a battlefield's no place for a kid like you. Ja Rule gets called over by Nami, and we see the guards who were attacked by Shamrock and Gunko in the castle, filling in Ja Rule with everything. You're saying one of the intruders looked just like Red Hair, which, yeah.
And both
except the fact that his face isn't scarred and he has both arms. But yeah.
Which is frightening.
One of them had a really weird ability. If an unknown element, odds are it's a devil fruit user. Thank you, Jinbei.
Yeah.
Spread the word. There are 2 humans other than the Straw Hats on Elbaf. And Brooke's like, are you sure it's only 2? All this chaos could be more. And it's like, yeah. And Ja Rule's like, yeah, good point. There could be more. And Nami, again, this is something I've been saying. As soon as they fucked with the kids, Nami is going to actually be in her battle mindset.
She's ready to fight.
I don't know who's behind this or where they're hiding, but anyone who kidnaps children in broad daylight is nothing but scum. Nami, again, rarely is eager to throw hands.
Yeah, she's usually considered among the coward trio, but, you've touched her sensitive button.
Yep. If they're taking hostages, they got something else planned for Elbaf. And they're trying to figure out what's going on. But Jinbei, I think, or someone else, is that we need a human-sized ship. But don't be ridiculous. You're our guests. You should go hide somewhere safe. Which, okay.
How kind.
But also at the same time, you have human-sized enemies.
So go fight the human-sized enemies. Let the giants take the giants.
Let the giants take the giant nightmares. If the culprits are human-sized, we'd be better at dealing with that, says Jinbei. Jinbei being great and wise.
We love Jinbei.
That's right. The giants can take care of the big things. Wow, the Straw Hats actually being strategically smart, but they still didn't fucking tie Lucci up on Egghead. I'm still annoyed at that one. Agreed, but Elbaf is way too big to search my foot, and that's a valid point.
Yeah, you guys are just too small.
But Nami notices Cologne trying to get on ship. And Cologne, I didn't realize how big he was. He's bigger than Jinbei, who's no small person.
I think he's also like 8 feet tall.
Yeah, I think Jinbei's about Yamato's size.
Which, if Cologne's already bigger than him.
Yeah. And Cologne's... I think he's 20, which is like 8 in human years.
Yeah.
And the Cologne pirates, Nami's thinking it's so cute. Cologne liking to be the captain. And they set off. And we cut back to our favorite trio of bastards.
Back looking at Gunko.
Who has headphones. And I think we've talked on this before. The technology in One Piece is so inconsistent.
Yeah, that's all. Again, I'm just going to rub this one off to proximity to Egghead.
I guess the world government would have aspects, but again, also Law had a submarine and stuff. But like Gunko listening to headphones, listening while the alarm is raised. There was a confirmed sighting of humans other than the Straw Hats. Consider them hostile and dangerous. Meanwhile, Gunko was listening to music, which is apparently a ritual. A TD, which is the brand of the headphone. And Sommer says we should have a singing contest. One of them, I think St. Q asks what Gunko's favorite song is, which is New World. New World being Brooks' song he sang before the Straw Hats reappeared and dipped on Saba Odi after the end of 2Y. Which is very interesting that Gunko likes a Soul King song, and Soul King happens to be there. And Sommers is like, it laughs and says, you got a problem with the current one? You shouldn't mock others' interests, Sommers. Whatever. That grown-up is going to go try save the kids. We see Saul with
God
two shields getting in front of the kids to stop them, which I think that's actually pretty smart.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
But then the thorns start hurting the kids. God. Sommers' fruit is so, like, no pun intended here, he's such a goddamn prick.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a devil fruit that can be overcome, but it's a very, very annoying one. Like, it is clear. But also, can I just say it? It's a Holy Knight's devil fruit. It's kind of...
You expect it to be higher grade?
Yeah, like, it's a little lackluster for a Holy Knight, in my opinion. A Yonko Commander? Sure. But a Holy Knight?
We're still getting a good feel for them.
Yeah, but it's like their ego. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If we stop one, they all start pricking each other. Robin's like, who would do such a thing? And that is just like, ugh. I leave it to the Celestial Dragons, dude. Saul then makes a lasso and ropes one of them. That works.
Let's go.
But Fenrir appears. And one of the nightmares.
God damn it.
Chopper scream.
Which, fair enough.
Principal, it's not just the Western Village. Other villages are reporting the sightings, and they're all over Elbaf. And they're just trying to figure it out. They took down
the Draugr.
But a dragon appeared. And I'm going to say this very, very, very carefully. A Nidhogger. I guess. Nidhoggr. I'm going to guess it's a form of dragon. And a ghost. They just keep coming. The ghost is so poorly drawn. It looks like one of pre-spy reveal Kanjiro's drawings.
It does.
But it's no use. They keep coming. But then Dory and Brogy, being the beasts they are, a little
one tap
Haku
it.
Sovereignty, blow that dragon away. And the giant warrior pirates here they come. And that's Dory, right? Yeah, Dory's the rounder one, I think. Or Brogy. One of the rounder one, they had to barf up all the booze so they could sober up. Saying it's a waste. But yeah. And then we also see Scopper is here. Mountain Eater Yasan.
It's nice to see that Dory and Brogy have not been power cliffed into irrelevance. They are, in fact, still out here, still a menace.
Mountain Eater, he got that nickname from something beyond cutting up enemies on a mountain. I'll say that.
That's for sure.
But that takes us into chapter 1145, titled The Blaze in Branches 8's Force Number 2. Definitely one of the... A name for a manga chapter to exist in history. A name for sure. Oh god, the definitely the most cringy ass relationship. Ulti cuddling page 1. Pei still alive.
Unfortunately.
You can see page 1 though is only clearly unamused by Ulti though.
Only child Yamato and the Holy Inari.
Yeah, the Holy Shrine Pilgrimage. Kind of like, again, Odin's Journey of Wano. It's now Yamato's Journey of Wano. We see the people in the underworld fighting some actual just normal monsters, if that makes sense.
Hey, his shield is a homie.
Yes. That thing looks edible. It's big, but even by giant standards. Groggy Saurus is super tasty. Thick layer of fat under the skin, so prep may take a while, but simmer it in booze and it's fantastic.
We didn't bring enough alcohol. We didn't bring any alcohol, though.
Hunter's cabin is stocked with all cooking tools we'll need.
Sanji is happy.
Never mind. What is that thing asking about the shield? Is that a Delphi? It came to life after my old man clashed with Big Mom.
All it takes to clash?
I guess maybe like Big Mom like made it a homie during the fight, but she left it behind after the fight, and so I forget what his name is, but I'll just say Babyface, new giant pirate. It's
definitely interesting.
So, and they say it's just like Zeus, and it's like, what? You know Zeus? He's a high-ranking homie. Yeah, he's our navigator's lackey now.
Yeah.
What? Which is fucking hilarious. And then I guess there's some juxtapose. God's Knights. That's right. They came here. Government officials. You're saying they did this to you? Low-key answering. Yep. All the rampaging you did overseas must have been the reason. Don't be stupid. So Loki did go out and do shit beyond Elbaf's borders.
Kind of like Odin, but it seems like he was more of an ass.
I'd already be king of the world if I'd gone far enough to cross paths with guys like that. And Luffy's like, world government knights? And people call like, hey, we got some food. Zoro saying he took it down. Sanji talking shit. You looked like a head of broccoli sailing gloriously through the air. Which I'm going to say it, though. They did actually team up to take that down. And it is nice to actually... I like the rivalry. I don't necessarily like it almost seems hatred between them, you know?
They are... Look, if you work in a kitchen, it's just how you talk to each other.
Yeah, I know. But... Yeah. And they cook it up. And Luffy puts it on a stick, tries to feed Loki, but just smacks the hot meat down on his face.
You moron,
Take it
trying
easy.
to kill me.
You'll reopen his wounds. But Loki already healing up because of... And Luffy goes, chow down, you won't heal if you don't eat. And Loki does eat it. How I'm meant to eat laying down.
Hot, it's clearly boiling.
Pass me the soup. Luffy being stay away from me, and he splashes it onto Loki. Get him the hell away from me. Luffy just trying to be a nice guy. My bad, I didn't mean to. But Gerd actually gives Luffy a thumbs up at burning Loki with the soup. Good soup.
What did you... What do you need to piss off the Giants this much?
Sanji asking Zoro about Loki.
But his promise to Luffy is just a trick.
About Shanks telling Luffy where Shanks was. I'm afraid I wasn't lying about Shanks' whereabouts. The deal was that you'd set me free from the chains first, though.
You really want to see red hair that bad, huh?
I guess I can understand. That's what happens when you look up to a pirate in your youth. Luffy asks him what he means by that.
You regret that you were just
and we get a flashback of Kid Loki
take me with you
to asking Rocks to take him with him.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I didn't come all this way to take a brat like you. Don't make me repeat myself. Loki challenges Rocks and used a blade on Loki, and Rocks told Whitebeard to shut up. Which, I'm going to say this, Rocks doesn't look horribly tall.
He's way shorter than
Whitebeard. Now, granted, Whitebeard, again, at 22 feet or whatever, is no small man.
Yeah, but like...
If he looks like a solid 9 feet, like he's just under half of Whitebeard, so maybe like 9-10 feet.
Dude, that's Doflamingo size, and Doflamingo was still huge.
Yeah. Loki saying he was born in the wrong era. God, he has like the cringy, like posters of bands from 2 decades ago or something up in his bedroom. I was born in the wrong era, man.
Austin, we're old. To us, that would be stuff from the 90s and 80s.
Yeah, that's
20 years ago, it's like we were alive for that.
Don't remind me of our impending time dwindling.
Okay, where are we at?
We cut in back to the giant warrior pirates dealing with the nightmares. We got a fuck ton of them here. A giant bird, a zombie thing, a bear
another
thing,
Draugr,
another thing, and it looks like Loki. Leave him to me. Scopper taking care of it. They say, good thing these are just how the kids imagined them. They'd be much tougher if they were actually familiar with the real versions.
Okay.
But that does mean that, like, if you picture a blue cat in your dream, even if the real cat is pink,
Yeah.
St. Q can only pull out that blue cat.
And that blue cat is not, it's only a facsimile of the real one.
Yeah.
Which means that dragon's probably not as powerful as a real dragon.
Yes. No, granted, it's still a problem. However,
yeah.
It's not the worst case scenario. It's like, it's not good, but it's not the worst.
Yeah.
And Scopper calls out that he hears 3 voices that can't be suppressed. We know that the Holy Knights are technically, unless they're just kind of let it slip because of their ego, but they were masking their presence earlier. But Scopper able to sense them, which, let's face it, if Scopper is Sanji's parallel, what is Sanji's specialty? Observation hockey. So it makes sense that Scopper's has some really, really busted ass observation hockey.
I had a joke about sex at first, and I'm glad you covered that up.
I kept it PG. Okay. The firefighting unit's trying to take out that fire before the kids get there. Saul took out that Fenrir.
Let's go.
Got a nice old goose egg there. So Saul showing, he was a vice admiral for a reason.
It's also interesting to see that you can knock these things out and they don't necessarily just die.
I guess they're technically living things, even though they're dreams.
Yeah, it's still a little fuzzy.
It's devil fruit magic bullshit.
Yeah.
Oda will have them be as powerful as the narrative needs to be. The kids are doing as best as they can. The firefighters are trying, but the kids are getting closer and closer. And the Holy Knights are watching. Look, Gunko, the kids are about to burn alive. Would that be enough to wake them up? Yes. They'll wake up from the heat, screaming for their parents in terror, then the flames will burn them down to the bone. Oh, man, ain't that just touching? Good God. I forget how much all the celestial dragons are so massively dickhead. Like, they're just the biggest dickheads in the show.
It's really baffling just to be like, my man, you can do whatever you want with some of these powers, and you choose to
be a dickhead.
Yeah.
It's like Foxy with the slow fruit. No, I'm serious there, though. Like, he has one of the more broken devil fruits, but he just uses it to be a little bit of a little sleazebag pirate Davy back bitch.
Well, also imagine you're one of the couple people on Earth who could probably actually go 1-to-1 with Kizaru just with your devil fruit.
And
you're out here just stealing
And
pirates.
I think he's got less than a 40 mil bounty. So, but Jinbei coming in clutch, but we do see a panel of Solmer's rejoicing in the aspect of the kids burning alive. Oh my God, I hate these pricks. Genuinely. And I love that. It's nice to have scumbag villains you actually just truly hate.
Just evil for evil's sake.
Yes. It's so refreshing. Not every villain needs tragic. Yeah, no need for moral complexity here. We had moral complexity on Egghead with Kizaru, and even in Wano, Kaido had layers. Nah, just give us some good old-fashioned dickheads here. Give me just evil shits, and I'm happy. But Jinbei coming in clutch with a current shoulder throw.
Let's go.
To put it out in time. Nami and Brook and Usopp celebrating it. Also calling for Jinbei to join them on the Cologne little pirate thing. It's a very interesting little in quotation marks here.
It looks like it kind of flies.
Yeah, they got normally you got the oars sticking out the side, but they're attached to clouds, which is very. I guess that's how they do it. I guess. But the fire's been extinguished, which means the kids are at least saved from being burned alive. Here's to the Guardians of Elbaf. The firefighter's like, no, it wasn't us. But they're just happy the kids are okay.
Yeah.
Robin was like, Chopper and Robin know who it was, though. And the guys at school may hate me, but I still consider them my friends. And Nami's like, it'll be okay. We'll save them all. And, oh, no. Cologne, who is that? And Gunko has landed on the ship.
Dog, can we get her some pants?
Not all children were in school and saying this one sure seems lively, and God, Gunko just looks sinister. But yes, needs some pants. Although Brook is probably not complaining.
No.
But that is we have the first actual God's Night pulling up to face the Straw Hats here. Yeah, and then that ended 11:45. Going right into 11:46, which
this
actually
one has color.
Has a colored cover page.
He's got purple hair.
The Elbaf outfits of Sanji, Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Chopper, and Usopp, and Loki, who's got that's not pink hair.
That's purple.
It's purple pink in a way. Like, it's not quite purple, but it's like a purple pink hybrid, which is unique.
Yeah.
It's not something you would expect this fierce warrior to have, you know?
I know a dude in real life with that color hair.
Yeah.
Polar opposite type of personality, though.
Nami got yellow, which is interesting. Red for Luffy. Purple and pinkish for Usopp. Blue for Sanji. Green for Zoro. Red for Luffy, which is...
Chopper got the gold tips.
And, yeah, Chopper got some gold tips on his antlers. But going back to the cover story, Ulti climbing up on Yamato.
Uh-oh.
I shall never forget the favor. I shall become your loyal subordinate. Ulti, who wanted Yamato's hands during the raid on Onigashima, now pledging loyalty to Yamato.
Quite a turnaround.
It also kind of, and I did see this on Twitter, it parallels Odin's journey a bit of recruiting former foes or misfits and stuff.
I call it the Dragon Ball effect, but I don't even think that's accurate.
And page 1 is shocked. Otama is shocked at this, and Yamato's just annoyed by ulti. Pay. Usopp.
Who the hell are you?
So you are one of the intruders. Jinbei stepping forward first. You're the ones who kidnapped the children, aren't you? So Cologne says you're the intruder from the human race. The ones who did that to the castle guards. And Gunko says, you said human race?
Oh?
We are gods. And Usopp goes, talking just like Enel and the Celestial Dragons.
Good callback.
Enel mentioned in 2025?
In the year of our Lord. Not Enel.
But some people have been saying Enel will come back in the Elbaf arc. I mean, Oda might just have put that little seed there to remind, hey, Enel is a thing. And Enel on Elbaf is a problem because of his fruit.
Oh my god, yeah.
It could also be the perfect, because something that he has done repeatedly has been giving Nami Enel's devil fruit.
Yeah.
Just he's done that multiple times. He's drawn her with it, and he's answered SBS saying, oh, she would have his devil fruit. So it could be he'll come back, maybe do some damage on a God Knight, and then get killed, and Nami somehow accidentally eats the devil fruit, because keep in mind that Buggy accidentally ate his devil fruit. So it could happen. And then and what do gods want with kids from Elbaf, huh? Nami says. And they're like, where are you taking them? Bring them back. And Gunko's, watch your mouth. It'd be better if we could just abduct him, but with that size... Oh, Frankie taking out that Zeus-looking motherfucker with a radical beam. We will actually get to see that radical beam hit something in the anime probably next year, but...
Finally, radical beam does something.
Oh, Bonnie looks adorable, cheering on in her kid form.
I like her child form better. It looks less perverted.
Yeah. The only choice we have, but Gunko's saying, because these kids are so fucking massive, we actually have to make them walk. And take them and escort them to the route to the Holy Land, Marie Joie. Nani calling out Marie Joie as the Holy Land is... Jinbei's like, you're a celestial dragon? You're one of those guys? But you're not like ones we've seen. And Brooke's saying, I think she's even higher up than that. Maybe part of the Gods Knights.
That's interesting.
Brooke pulling out the Gods Knight, because he was not down in the underworld when Loki told the new giant pirates, Zoro and Sanji and Luffy, that the Gods Knights are here.
Brooke knows something.
Yeah, Brooke got a little... Brooke calling out the Gods Knights is interesting, and Gunko saying, indeed. So you want the little runs to turn them into slaves, and then the arrow it goes towards
very reminiscent of Emu.
Yeah. And Nami pulls Zeus out. Zeus on Elbaf is a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
Thunder Shark Tempo. A very cool, Zeus forming like a shark. But Gunko just using her devil fruit to turn it around, and Zeus being shocked by it too. In My Hero Academia, Endeavor has a sidekick, and his quirk is called Inertia. Basically, we see Endeavor shoot through it and change the trajectory straight up in season 6.
Okay.
And this reminds me exactly of that. It takes any momentum and just turns it a direction of the user's want.
All I can think about is that one gif of a shark coming at a
marine rotated idiot.
Yeah.
And Gunko begins some monologuing. One day the world was simply going to disappear, or at least that's what was supposed to happen, as Zeus is now after Nami.
Oh boy.
But Brooke took the hit. And Brooke and Nami both giving thumbs up with a little tongue blimp from Nami. It hit me. Wait, I hit you, Zeus said. Thanks. Like, as he... But a portion of humans realized this. The Gunko saying the world was simply going to disappear. And made it known to the world. Clover, Robin's mom, and Vegapunk. Usopp actually...
Taking aim.
Squaring up and blasts Gunko.
Oh, he fucking
Don't think
nailed
we're
her.
scared of celestial dragons, you bastard. Where in the fuck did Usopp find his balls?
Nami must have pulled him out of her purse.
And Gunko's obliterated. Like, literally in half. Just, her upper half is gone. Her pantsless legs are still standing. Her half her body's gone. I'm so sorry, but motherfucker has regen, just like the Gorosei.
God damn it!
I felt bad for her, but she's regenerating. That's right. And so, like Kaido, just takes the hit because she knows she can, and she'll just come back. And Nami, Usopp scream because I don't think they saw the regeneration really in effect on Egghead.
Also, if someone calls himself a god and you manage to blow off their upper half and they just regen,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. Now that it's come to this, there's no stopping it anymore. No one can stop it now. The disappearance of, I would say, the normal One Piece world. Her arrow attacks are going everywhere. Knowing exactly where that blow will land is the pinnacle of absurdity. It's like,
did Nami catch it?
Yeah, Nami grabbed it.
Hell yeah.
That's interesting. Again, like, Nami's... Oh, it is very inconsistent, but he doesn't care about power scaling.
Enormous battle that will...
It's like a countdown. An enormous battle that will engulf the world is about to begin.
War involving the whole world, yeah.
Like that's ever going to happen. Well, it's happened twice before, at least.
We've had 2 IRL.
So that's why you want Elbaf under your control and you're using the children as hostages. How disgusting. When that time comes, whoever the Giants choose to side with will drastically change the course of war. And we have a shot of Luffy and Loki being bloated from eating. And I saw some people complaining like, oh, Loki lost some aura with being like that. But to me, that's just some cementation of Loki being a good guy.
Like, if Luffy shares a meal with someone, that means a lot.
Yeah, and having the same type of little physical reaction as Luffy, it shows that Loki is not I'll say evil person. I'm not going to say he's a good guy. But
it's One Piece. Give it like 5 minutes. He'll be back to aura farming soon.
I do this out of duty alone, but in the end it may be pointless. The lives of those children are nothing but trash to me. The concept of a hostage means nothing, Gunko says. You got a screw loose? But Cologne calls her a bastard, but he gets yoinked by the arrows. Jinbei and Brook try to attack, but they attack each other instead because Gunko redirects their attacks. Aro. And Gunko kicks Nami away. And then just straight up knees Usopp in the face after he calls her a wretch. Where in the hell has this Usopp been the entire second half of One Piece?
Look, I know we said we wouldn't obfuscate too much, but just like in our last episode, the death flags. Usopp isn't running away. Usopp actually isn't, like, he's a little scared, yeah, but normally he's, like, pissing himself.
Yeah, no, granted, I would be scared too.
Are you fucking kidding me? Look at Gunko.
Like, she's kicking ass in regeneration. I'd be scared too, but he's not actually trying to flee. Now, granted, he can't really run anywhere, but he's not, like, trying to surrender or anything. He's not giving up. And we forget that Usopp is actually one of the most durable motherfuckers. So Elbaf does have a limited communication network. Yeah, kind of like how Wano is a limited communication network. They have to have those like bigger snails to act as enhancers, signal enhancers. St. Q is at the school and just dropped the director. And just St. Q put the principal's body into sleep mode. That's interesting. I've never heard of a Dengo Mushi before. Sommers try saying something through the Den Mushi. It's interesting that they use.
2, Dengo.
Hold on. Sommers says, hold on. Almost finishing up with that ex-vice admiral who was supposed to have died on Ohara. Saul and all these thorns around.
Good grief.
God. And Sommers just doesn't even have broken a sweat. Doesn't look like he's tired. Like nothing.
Saul really is a good guy.
And Saul telling Robin and Chopper to hide in his beard. Saying, hey, I need you to take care of the kids. And Sommers laughs as Saul falls timber because he's a prick. Oh my God. I love it and I hate it. And Robin's upset because, just reunited with Saul and, well, might be on death's door again. School, library, cut the peace and learning crap. You're warriors. There was a time when the giants shook this world with sheer brute strength. You'll become our mercenary soldiers. Isn't that right, King Harold? Harold, that bastard, he really screwed it up this time. That's Sommers saying it. We talked about that, like when Shamrock was on Elbaf and they summoned Sommers, St. Q. Like, are you visiting Harold's grave? We talked about this. Harold had some type of agreement with the world government to do something. I don't know what changed. Harold screwed something up. So maybe he went back on that deal with the world government. Because maybe, just maybe, ironically here, Big Mom may have fucked him up enough that it's like, I don't want this life.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind,
Maybe change his perspective.
Also keep in mind though, Mother Caramel was working for the world government, and because of Mother Caramel, Big Mom was there, and so because Mother Caramel was a piece of shit, and then Harold got hurt by Caramel's project. It's like, I don't want to do business with you anymore. So maybe, this is just pure my speculation here, maybe Big Mom is in part thanks to Harold. It may be part of the reason why Harold changed his ways and screwed things up here.
I mean, that's definitely a possibility.
I mean, hey, all I'm saying is if you got burned by your business partner.
Well, also, I don't see any other alternative path at the moment, so.
I doubt that, but it could have been maybe a part of it too, And now we cut to 11:47. The things we find scary. Yamato with Raizo,
my favorite ugly character.
He is very interesting.
He is hard to look at. I love him.
Ning.
An actual ninja.
Saul saying he's seen Sommers before, calling him a god's knight. They're immortal. We can't beat them. For the children's sake, you have to stay hidden and wait for the right moment. So a former vice admiral, who's also a D-clan member, let's not forget that, says we can't beat them, they're immortal.
That's concerning.
There has to be something to do to beat them. The survivor of Ohara. Well, I guess there were two of you, huh? The Marines sure dropped the ball there. Robin hearing that and just... Yes. Gunko, you done rounding up the Straw Hats? Are you bringing them back with us? And St. Q, Sommers, you dolt. We aren't here to provoke Straw Hat Luffy, right? We are here to carry out our mission and go back home. Because, A, they are knights in the sense they're soldiers. They've been given orders. Hey, you need to do X, Y, Z. Do it.
Yeah.
Provoking Luffy is not X, Y, Z.
It's a bad idea. And they've stumbled on the motherload of bad ideas in sequence.
Yeah. how dare they do that to Saul, and look, and they took Cologne too, that the captured Straw Hats of Nami, Usopp, Brook, and Jinbei. How could you let this happen, Jinbei? I thought we'd be good with you here. Jinbei trying to think of how to handle the regen ability. And then Usopp saying, she's scary, I thought I was a goner. Brook then saying, that woman, no, it couldn't be. Brook, you son of a bitch. You're giving us some of your lore, aren't you?
Let us know what you know, Brook.
And Gunko points a sword at Brook, and Usopp calls her the zombie lady. And then Gunko... God damn it, Oda.
You there.
God damn it, Oda. You perv. Just a straight up the jacket pants shot.
We know he drew that. He might have drawn this with one hand.
But Gunko steps on Brook, forcing his head back.
Oh.
Your life will be devoted to making music for me. You belong to me.
Oh.
She knows Brook's music? No way. She's a Celestial Dragon and a Soul King fan? And Jinbei says, that's a hell of a groupie.
Jinbei with his eyes on the prize.
Sommers calls over, Gunko, cut that out. I'm not in the mood to pick a fight with a Yonko either. I know he says Emperor, but Yonko just sounds
It
better.
goes hard. It's a good title.
Let's finish the job. My sincerest apologies, young lady. My captain gave me a second lease on life. Since then, my loyalty has been to him alone. And if refusal means forfeiting your life, I would sooner embrace death than live without honor.
What a line.
And he gets kicked for his trouble.
Worth.
This is by far the most interesting thing, though, right here. Gunko going, ugh, and I don't... Is that actually pain?
It might be heartbreak.
I mean, she is a fan, but I'm surprised these pricks can feel anything like that.
Oh, they feel mirth, but only when they hurt people.
But could there be something to it, though? Like, if she's hurt heartache-wise, that does imply that, maybe, I don't know. But it's interesting that, that's the first time a Holy Knight's experienced any kind of pain. Which is very interesting that technically, I guess, Brook is the reason but Sommers asks St. Q if they're good. He's got the green light. And Sommers begins addressing Elbath. Sommers being a prick. I bet by now you're feeling the pressure from all these abnormalities. Jack-o'-lantern monster ass. I'm the dagger of the Holy Land, Marie Joie, Sommers of the Gods' Knights. What in the... Is that a bulldog spider?
Yeah. That's awful.
That's also a weird-ass nightmare for a kid.
Yeah.
And we get different cuts of all the different villages dealing with the nightmares. Marie Joie, so they're with the world government.
Chief,
They're exposing themselves? Yeah, they are exposing themselves here. They're like, hey, we're here. You are probably aware of this, but we are currently in the middle of kidnapping 10 children from this country. And we've already taken down a certain orange-bearded guy who's trying his best to defend them. Something happened to Saul.
I'm sorry you... God, I can't read. I'm sorry. I'm blind.
In
sorry,
short,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You're naively assumed those rats would be safe, but they're still storming toward our goal. It's showtime. Too bad we don't have a video feed. You do remember the names of the kids we had march out of here? Of course. All right, then I'll inform you of the names. It's about time the children wake up from their dreams. And so the kids are awake now, marching. Gabon's kid, you can't see them. We've been kidnapped. I want to go home. I want my mommy. I want my daddy. Cologne being like, shut the fuck up. We've been kidnapped, you dumbasses. Calm down here. I'm not like you Vikings. I'm a warrior, and then a ghost monster pops up and Cologne screams in terror. Makes sense. We gotta rescue the kids. What are these creatures supposed to be? The one over there looks like my wife. Hang on, these kids aren't just... The kids' fears coming to life. It's the kids' mothers! Anyone would be scared by that, even us. And the mothers actually terrify the giant warriors, Dory and Brogy, crying out in fear. And they're, I'm sorry for always going out drinking, Mom. Ma, I shouldn't have forgotten to take out the trash. Forgive me for eating the honey cake made for kids. Good Lord, these grown-ass adults are acting like kids.
True,
and their
though.
ship goes down. Some strong demons, dream demons, just got them. The odds seem to be getting worse for those brats. And Sommers, they're like, all right, let's cut this shit. I'm addressing you, Ja Rule. Seems as the king's gone, you will speak for Elbaf. Then they're reacting to the ship crashing. You giants will serve as our battle thralls. Otherwise, you will see just how valuable these brats are as hostages. And then we get a little map breakdown of where everyone is. Ja Rule is in the west village near the castle. The 10 children are in the halfway point of this branch. Ripley, Frankie are coming up on the giant pirate ship. In the library and school, St. Q is there with Angie and the principal. Meanwhile, Gunko, Sommers, Saul, and Straw Hat crew are all kind of right behind the children. The names of the children are Ilva, Ja Rule's great-great-granddaughter, Scotty, Olaf, of course, a grandson of a giant warrior pirate, Colleen saying I have the worst luck, Mug, Ronya, more warrior pirate, giant war pirates, kids being kidnapped,
Bent.
Johanna. At least you have pirates. Johanna's interesting here. She's got horns, but she's not wearing a helmet.
So that means she's probably an ancient.
Maybe Loki's? I don't know.
Maybe.
That's interesting. Johanna, let's put a pin in her for potential interesting characters. Bjorn, who kind of looks like Sanji's wanted poster.
He does.
It was just 9, but then we got Little Warrior Cologne. Makes 10, and Ripley is like, my son? You hear that, Ripley? Our boy, and this is freaking Scopper saying it, our boy sure is something. This isn't the time to brag. Here are the demands. Set fire to the schools and libraries in their pointless history and swear your allegiance to us. If you don't, we will kill your kids off one by one. Elder Ja Rule, this is your choice.
Mine.
The school is a symbol of Elbaf's peace, and the library not only safeguards our long history, but also secrets of the world that the scholars of O'Hara sacrificed their lives to protect. It doesn't belong to just Elbaf. And Sommer's unamused, but Robin stepping out, Chopper saying don't do it, Ripley calling out for Scopper to do something, and it ends with Robin getting ready and Scopper running in, an unlikely duo springing into action, both saying I'm not going to let it happen, because for Robin, you're burning the library is her...
That's her thing.
Like, that's the remnants of what her mom and everyone she knew died for.
Oh my gosh.
And
this team up is kind of insane.
Robin getting a little bit of like Mihawk emu type eyes in this panel, which is very interesting. Oda never does something like that unintentionally, you know?
She got hatred in her eyes.
Oh, yeah.
That's like pre-time skip Robin eyes.
Yeah, that's Miss All Sunday Robin.
Like,
and that Miss All Sunday version was straight up menace.
Miss Olsen.
Like, you remember how she, like, forced Tashigi to nearly like almost cut Tashigi with her own sword, bending her back so much in Alabasta.
Miss All Sunday speaks and I listen.
Yeah. If we getting Miss All Sunday Robin back, that's a problem.
You pulled that out of her. You deserve what you get.
Yeah, you have Black Maria making her pull out the demon for and something else. But the problem is Sommers is there. Sommers has the thorn fruit. Any extension of any limb Robin makes, her own body takes damage. That is a horrible matchup.
Yeah.
Unless a motherfucker gets armor and hockey.
Like, please just give her armor and hockey.
It would be very... This could be the thing to upgrade. I mean, her savior, the closest thing to a parental figure she now has, just gotten taken out. Plus, the legacy of her people is threatened. If there's nothing that can awaken something in her, if this doesn't awake anything in her, nothing will.
Yeah. Like come on.
Like straight up, there's nothing else. But and the left hand of the Pirate King,
which, ooh boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's and that gets us all caught up in the manga for now until the newest chapter comes out and we have to play catch up once again.
That's a problem for another Sunday.
Yeah, that's a future Austin Jeff issues, not now. 1148 plus whatever other chapters would be coming out between that now and then. But those were great chapters setting the tone of what's coming for Elbaf, the despair that they are facing. And keep in mind, this is just 3 Holy Knights. This is not the full squad. I think in that like silhouette shot Dragon had talking of the Holy Knights, it was like 9. And then you throw in Shamrock, so that's 4 known Holy Knights. So that means at least like 5 more Holy Knights, all assuming to have broken devil fruits,
regeneration,
and the ability to use the warp gates.
Which that's a fucking problem. They have to go.
Oh god, no one. And I think we can safely give Dragon a pass on worrying about the Holy Knights compared to the Marines.
Send the email might be holding the Holy Knights.
Yeah.
Which, if that's who he's been training against all this time, Dragon's gotta be strong as fuck.
Yeah, Dragon's been preparing to deal with the Holy Knights. Oh, God, I can't imagine. And also, though, I can now appreciate his pensivity even more and not wanting to do shit. Because
those fights are unwinnable.
If you are run up on by the Holy Knights, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You have to plan for them. And I think that's why he didn't want to do shit. Because
you can't go in without every single advantage.
Yeah. So I can understand why he doesn't want to.
So it's been fun to dunk on Dragon, but like,
we're now kind of seeing why.
If the next strongest person you have after you is Sabo
or Kuma,
you are going in there basically solo. Sabo's very strong. Maybe he can hold off 1. But 2,
No.
3, 4, dog it, no.
No. Your commanders ain't... It would take all 4 commanders to probably keep one other Holy Knight in check.
And if you have Shamrock there...
Oh, God. Shamrock's the whole problem.
If he's at least as strong as Shanks...
That's Dragon's fight. And that's not even including Fickle Garling.
Yeah.
That's not including Shamrock's daddy.
That, like, any... Yeah.
And
the Revolutionary Army just... It is better for them to focus on the little fights.
They're just going to get so... The Revolutionary Army is going to be so fucking buffed next time we see them in action, because it would probably be against the Holy Knights. It's going to be stupid. You talk about power cliffing. That's power Mount Everesting. So, but that will be down the line. I am sure Robin will somehow... Here's the thing. Robin will probably communicate to the Revolutionary Army, hey, the Holy Knights, they moved.
Yeah.
They did shit. And once the RA finds out that the Holy Knights did shit, that's when they... Dragon literally said, we wait for them to spring into action and then we make our move. They were waiting on the Holy Knights to make a move, and they've made a move. So that's going to be very interesting because, again, that Robin revolutionary connection is very poignant.
Yeah.
And going to play out very decisively in this end game part. But that wraps up this one.
Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe for more. We'll see you next time.